Well, when you look at the clouds in the sky, the clouds we do have, they look soft, fluffy, and lighter than air, but they actually weigh an incredible amount. One viewer, Maxine, wants to know, do cumulus clouds actually weigh 1.1 million pounds? That's the question Chief Meteorologist Ellen Baca is answering in tonight's Ask Ellen.
I love this question because you don't really think about something like this. How much does a cumulus cloud weigh? So we think about clouds, we don't really think about weight too much because they're floating in the sky. So there's this theory, right, this initial thought that they might be weightless. But I want to remind you that just because something can float doesn't mean it doesn't have weight. Here's a great example. Oil floats on water. That doesn't mean that the oil doesn't weigh anything, right? We know that oil has weight. So just because something is floating doesn't mean it's weightless. So let's look at the typical weight of things in the atmosphere. First, we'll just start with air. I love this stat and I love using it at school talks because it's always really surprising to kids. Did you know that air has weight at sea level? The weight of air for just 1 square inch is 14.5 pounds. That means all the time air is weighing down at about 14.5 pounds per square inch on our body. But since this is the environment that we're used to, and because of other forces in the atmosphere, we don't really notice it. Well, water also has weight, and if we look at some of the scientific calculations with water, specifically for a cumulus cloud, and we consider a cumulus cloud maybe that's 1 kilometer cubed, the amount of water within that is 1.1 million pounds of water. That's credited to the USGS, by the way, for doing the math for us. So technically, yes, that's the amount of water that's inside a cumulus cloud. But if we add in the weight of air, some cumulus clouds, especially if we allow them to expand, not just trapped in that 1 kilometer cubed box, could weigh as much as 1,400,000,000 pounds. That's pretty heavy. By the way, that's actually lighter than if it was just dry air. If you want to know the answer as to why, that's another week's Ask Ellen.